Revelation 21. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride, adorned for her husband. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people. And God himself shall be with them and be their God.
Welcome, my child, to the eternal kingdom of light. Come, all who seek peace and light, enter into my eternal kingdom.
And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow, nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. And he that sat upon the throne said, Behold, I make all things new. And he said unto me, Write, for these words are true and faithful. And he said unto me, It is done. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. I will give unto him that is athirst of the fountain of the water of life freely. He that overcometh shall inherit all things, and I will be his God, and he shall be my son.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Makakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to us younger brothers in peace and blessings and salutation to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Makakwadash, pushing, get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful lake, the believers, the listeners whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. All right, and well, I want to go into the day, dealing with, all right, the crafty serpent, all right, which we know, going back to the garden, all right, that the serpent, which was a man, okay, and the spirit of the serpent, okay, is the same spirit that's within Esau, okay, a spirit of craftiness, a spirit of witchcraft, a diviner, okay, that's completely adverse, all right, adverse against righteousness, man, okay, because the scriptures speak about because of envy of the devil, sin came into the world, okay, showing that he was envious of righteousness, all right, and he infused, all right, poison into the game, all right, death, okay, into the game, by what he presented to Eve. Eventually Eve took it to, all right, Adam, and you had the fall of the sons of God, okay? So this devil, he's always been at the forefront of being crafty and getting people to rebel against the right way, okay? Even with this whole AI, which is, his idol that he's boasting in at this time. All right, he's persuading people that through AI, okay, that they can transcend beyond the limitations set by the Most High. The same thing he did to Eve. He made it seem as if he had a way that can make her, all right, and it played into, her inner desires that was already in her, okay, and it played into that. He played into that, okay, and she was deceived. You see, and a lot of people are being deceived, by that same spirit of the serpent, okay, with this technology of AI, where he's getting people to rebel against the Most High, but telling them that they're going to benefit. You see, he's doing a soft sell of the AI, okay, and that's a tactic that the serpent used on the soft sell, and we'll get into it. But first, let's get this, get into a few things. I got a video as well, this Jake, which it makes sense, when you listen to what Jake was talking about, it makes sense, okay. Um, let's go here to the book of Revelation, You always get it, Revelation chapter 20. It says, and when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison. Okay, and it's speaking of Esau. Because as we know, in Second Thessalonians says, who's coming is after the working of Satan with lying signs of wonder. Okay, so they're speaking of a man, speaking of a nation of people, nationality. All right, and who was in, power, you see, when Apostle Paul was writing the epistles, man, with the Roman Empire, the Edomite Roman Empire. Okay, he said the workers of iniquity are already in work. Speaking of Edomites, man. Okay, and then he said they're coming, their working is after Satan. Okay, and in fact, we'll get it. It says that when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loose out of his prison. Now let's go into who's Satan. Well, what will he be doing? All right, when this devil, all right, will be loosed out of his prison. Okay, what will be on the agenda? Okay, you go Second Thessalonians. All right, we went into this. Okay, Second Thessalonians 2:3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that the man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. Okay, so we had to fall away as a people. Beginning with 70 A.D. all the way until today, there was a falling away. Okay, and in these end times, the Lord would begin to redeem, all right, a remnant of Israel back to himself through the preaching of his word. Okay, but their falling away had to come first, and then the man of sin be revealed, because he had to awaken that remnant to reveal the man of sin, to call this man out. No one was calling the so-called white man an Edomite, okay, and linking him to a biblical prophecy, okay, the way, all right, before the prophets, man. You had people that, call, that this nigga Ben had the title of the devil, okay, but linking him up to being an Edomite, and the biblical prophecies attached to, this man's destruction, calling him out on his wickedness according to the scriptures. Okay, well, that really took off with the ministry of the prophets. Okay, so this man being revealed is directly linked to us being awakened. All right, the son of perdition or destruction, man. You see, and this devil, he's leading the whole earth into a great rebellion, which is the destruction, man. Okay, everyone outside of the remnant. You see, it said, "Remember ye not that when I was with you, when I was yet with you, I told you these things, and now ye know that it's like, and now ye know what withholdeth that he might be revealed in his time. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now let it will let until he be taken out of the way." Okay, so the Lord set an appointed time for us to be awakened, and an appointed time for this man to be exposed. Okay, and we're in that time of the elect being awakened and this devil being exposed. The mystery of iniquity doth already work, even wrong. Okay, only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. All right, so the devil, fell. All right, even Rome fell, Western Roman Empire, these Edomites, they fell. All right, Jake fully, took over, okay, the Roman Empire, and they ran it from, a more Eastern, okay, center base. They ran it from a Eastern capital, Istanbul, which is modern day Turkey. Okay, which you have the Byzantine Empire. You see, But the Lord allowed this man what to come back. That wound, that deadly wound. Okay, he suffered in Rome, was allowed to come back. And this time, okay, he still had another portion of rulership before he will be taken out for good at the return of Yahushua. And then shall the wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Okay, and then shall the wicked be revealed. You see, now this man is being revealed, the wicked. Okay, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth and through the prophets. And these prophecies are consuming this devil, man. This what has him weary. This what has him scrambling is these prophets, man. Okay, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming, which is going to be the chariots. All right, so this is all a build up to the devil, all right, being overthrown by Yahushua, the return of Yahushua. All right, but this devil will scheme, plot, scam, lie, deceive, all the way till he's destroyed. Okay, it says, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders. Okay, so this is the man whose coming is after the working of Satan, and this was Satan being loose from his prison. When you go into Revelation 20, Esau, okay, being allowed to come back into power. You know, he came out. You know, he came from the outskirts of society, of civilization. You know, and Caucasus Mountains. You know, Georgia, Russia, that area. You know, and the devil, it was integrated back into society and allowed, you know, to resume power, okay, and to rebuild, you know, and he revived, okay, that Greco-Roman Empire of old. You know, now it's more digital. Now it's digital with technology, okay, which are signs and lying wonders. So the technology and the lying wonders that this devil has is a sign of who he is, a token of who he is, okay. Because you go here, let's just get it real quick. Signs. All right. And AI is a major part of signs and lying wonders, man. You know, because he lies about AI's capability, man. You know, because the AI can do some things. All right. But this devil lies about the capability, and he lies about how it's going to be to your benefit. Okay. When he's training his AI, all right, to be a tyrant over you. Okay. Let me see.
Strong's G 4592. Say Mayan. Say Mayan.
Say Mayan. Okay. So you have a sign, a mark, a token, that by which a person or thing is distinguished from others and is known. You know, and this technology that this devil has, all right, and the way that he's using it in deception and craftiness, it distinguishes who he is, man. Okay? The serpent, man, with the lion wonder. Okay? It says a sign, a prodigy, a portent, i.e., an unusual occurrence, transcending the common course of nature, man. Okay, and what this man, you know, how he utilizes his technology, man. Okay, he does things in a very unnatural way. Okay, to try to clone, you know, food. That's not the natural way, you know, food is made. Trying to clone the animals. All right, GMO, the fruits and the vegetation. That's not the natural way. Okay, and these things have benefits. All right, that are, I mean, it's like these things have side effects that are harmful. Okay, but he only tells you about how these things are going to enhance you, enhance life. You see, all he talks about with his technology, how it's going to enhance life, man. But it's the exact opposite, man. This new world order is digital enslavement. Okay, there's all this new world order is a digital enslavement of the masses. Okay, and it's meant to benefit the few, the oligarchs. This technology, all right, was never meant to benefit you. Okay, it was meant for him to have more control and more power and more authority. Okay, he's allowed people to, you know, use this technology, okay, for convenience. Okay, he has allowed people to get comfortable with these things, to gain trust in this technology, Okay, but this devil plans to merge you with technology, then flip the switch, man. Okay, it's always been the snare. These things have always been the snare with this devil, this technology, man. Okay, it was always to lead you to this point, all right, to where you're so dependent and you worship the technology, you can't live without it. Okay, till you're willing to merge with it to continue using it, man. And that's what it was always about the whole time. Okay, this is back in Revelation 20:7, and when 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is the sand of the sea. And this precept sums up this devil's rulership. Okay, he will be loose, all right, out of his prison. He will be able to, infiltrate, all right, and intermingle and work his way back up to power. Okay, he will push deception throughout the four quarters of the earth, and it will lead to a war, all right, a face-off with Russia, which would go into a third world war, which will spark a third world war, and usher in Yahweh Shah. His ass is done, man. Okay, so basically, this nigga will come back into power, lie, steal, kill. Okay, go to war with Russia and its allies. You see, and Yahweh Shai gonna come and destroy everything, man, that this devil has built. All right, he's gonna destroy the militaries of the earth. You see, and we in the point now to where we see that war being geared up with Russia, because war with Iran is war with Russia, man. Okay, so let's go from there. Let's get this video. Then I got some more I want to get into after the video. Let's play this. All right, because people, the devil, has hyped up AI. Okay, as if AI is going to put everybody on the level. So now since you got access to AI, okay, you can compete with Warner Brothers when it comes to making a movie. Okay, you can compete with MGM now. The everyday people can just compete. Okay, with the big corporations now. Okay, but he's gonna make a point. All right, he's gonna make a few points, and it just shows you the subtlety of Esau Edom. Okay, so let's play this.
So you might remember I did a video not too long ago discussing AI and the reality of it. One of the things that I talked about was, or I rejected the notion. A lot of people bring up this idea that AI is like this democratizer. In other words, that it elevates people that otherwise do not have the resources to be competitive with the big dogs in whatever that, let's say, creative field is, art, entertainment, whatever. The reason why I rejected that is because it never really logically made sense, because the big dogs also have access to the same technology. In fact, that's not even accurate. They have access to better AI technology and can use it at scale attached to IPs that people are willing to make money on. It was never this great democratizer. If it was going to enter creative industries, this is the argument that I made, they had all of the advantage. So there's something that kind of came across my timeline here. Someone said all of the anti-AI artists were 100% right. The companies who can most afford to pay real artists have been the first to replace them with AI. And they're referring to the Olympics using this AI generated advertisement or something video as part of their presentation. Now, what I would like to focus on is, I don't care about whether you're pro or anti-AI. That's the part of this comment that I think it's not even necessarily accurate, because a lot of us that were making that necessarily that argument or bringing that up, highlighting that, it wasn't about being pro or anti-AI. It was just being understanding of the reality. Okay. Even for the sake of this video, what I'm discussing, whether you're pro AI is largely irrelevant. I was right on this, but I want you to understand why, number one, and most importantly, if we're going to move forward with a lot of this uncertainty, there's going to be some harsh realities that a lot of you out there that are going to, I guess, let's say this, you're going to need to accept it. Okay. Bottom line. One of the biggest things, I guess, hurdles it is to get over. It's not necessarily with anything. Has big dogs, big companies, like a corporation, national companies. What they have that you don't have access to is IPs and the people want to get shot. Bottom line, it's familiarity, it's legacy, it's proper channels, all of the terms. They have that. And if you aren't part of and caught up in that chain, which makes it so attractive, let's say you're behind largely, and it's going to be significantly difficult for you to break through. Now, what are we talking about here? We're talking about not just the ability to do things, whether it's something that is visually stunning. That's not what I'm talking about. It's whether or not this is going to be viable in a market economy. Are people willing to pay for the thing that you created via AI or not? That's really the discussion. And for whatever reason people aren't having, people get caught up so much into the capabilities of AI and the direction that it's going, and not talking enough about, well, what does that mean for the market economy? Like, is this viable? Are people going to be able to pay for it? Can AI even sustain itself with its questionable economics? That's the part, for whatever reason, people aren't discussing.
And see, people are caught up, in the capability of AI, because they're able to do and create, particular things with AI, and they think that AI is leveling the playing field between them and these major corporations. All right. But like he's saying, if you have access to, well, the AI that you have access to, all right, that we have access to, what do you think these major corporations have access to? Okay. And then they have these networks, these inner circles. Okay. AI wasn't created, okay, for a tool to equalize the gap between the rich and the poor. All right. It's the exact opposite. AI was created to control the poor. All right. All you're doing is training the AI. Yeah. All right. That's why they're allowing people to play with it and get familiar with it, because you're training the AI to govern you, to police you. Okay. It wasn't meant for you to become the next MGM. Okay. The next Warner Brothers, the next, tech billionaire. Okay. That's not what AI is for. Every billionaire is selected, just like presidents are selected, billionaires are selected. Okay, you have to be selected to be a billionaire, to be a mogul, to be a philanthropist. Okay, you have to be selected to be these things. All right, you have to be part of an inner circle. Okay, you're not going to become a billionaire from your basement. You're not going to drop out of college. Okay, you're not going to have this idea and then these investors meet you at Starbucks, okay, and they look over your shoulder and see what you're working on and sit down and talk with you, and then you have all these investments out of nowhere, and all right, none of them niggas that are billionaires, their stories are lies, man. Okay, this nigga lying, and what he's doing is a soft sell with this AI. Okay, so let's look into a few words, because people look at AI, as he says, as a democratizer. Okay, so let's look at this real quick. It says a democratizer is a person, okay, technology or force that makes resources, information, or opportunities accessible to a wider population, reducing reliance on elite or privileged groups. Okay, so people think AI is this democratizer that, it closes the gap, all right, between these elites and privileged groups and everyday people. Okay, to where now people have the tools to compete with corporation, man. No. That was never. If you think this man will give you something that'll allow you to compete with him, okay, you have other corporations that put you got major corporations that put other major corporations out of business. Okay, and you think, you in your college dorm room playing around with AI, okay, and you done did a music video, okay, or you done recreated a scene, okay, from Grease Lightning, with all black cast, and then you think, oh, this, and then millions of people are doing what you're doing. Tens of millions of people are doing what you're doing. So you're competing with millions of people doing the same thing. Okay. Tens of millions of people are doing this using AI to do particular things. Okay. Not saying that you can't use AI to, you know, as a tool in your situation. AI can be useful. We use it, all right, and as a teaching tool to a degree. We have to filter it, and we use oversight with it, okay, and we don't overdo it, but it can be used as a tool. But other than that, you think that it's going to close the gap between, all right, the common people and the corporations. The exact opposite, man. You're training your own prison. It said often actions, all right, often acting as an equalizer. It fosters social equity, decentralization, and broader perception in systems like education or the internet, man. Okay. And people think that this AI, this technology is a democratizer, which is not. Okay. All this devil is doing is using these talking points as a soft sell to get people comfortable and to trust, okay, his AI, okay, his technology, man, to the point to where you don't see nothing wrong with merging with it. All right. The end game is to get people to merge with this technology. Okay, that's the objective. All right, which is going to give him complete control, because once you merge with the technology, you're fully in the trap. Okay, so this is a soft sell. It says soft sell, a method of salesmanship or advertising that uses subtle persuasion. Okay, a method of salesmanship or advertising that uses subtle persuasion. Okay, he was more subtle than any beast of the field. Okay, and it says to sell something by using subtle persuasion. All right, and this is what the devil is doing. He's a salesman. Servant, the serpent. He came as a salesman unto Eve. He sold Eve's sin. He dressed it up. He sold her rebellion. All right, it was a soft sale. Okay, and I just looked it up on the chat. Let's just look at it on the chat. Okay, um, let's go here. All right, Slocky, that ain't it. Let me pull up the chat. So let's pull this up on the chat. All right, because I asked it about. I said how the serpent persuaded Eve in Genesis chapter 3. Could that be considered a soft sell tactic? All right, other precepts about deception. So it says in the book of Genesis chapter 3, the serpent's interaction with Eve is often studied not only theologically but also psychologically. When viewed through a communication or persuasion lens, it does resemble what today might be called a soft sell tactic, subtle, relational, and indirect rather than forceful. How the serpent persuaded Eve, Genesis 3, verses 1 through 6. The serpent uses several layered techniques, opening with a question and planting doubt. Did the Most High really say? Okay. Rather than directly contradicting the Most High, the serpent begins by framing doubts or curiosity. It is a classic soft approach. Okay, and this is what this devil does on mass scale. Okay, because now he's more directly opposing the Most High, but it began with little subtle attacks in his music, in his media, in his news, and his science. He began to plant seeds of doubt and curiosity beyond the scriptures. Okay. So this devil, he uses this same tactic today, just on a much massive scale, because he got more reach. Okay. At this time through his technology. It said it invites conversation. You know, and if he can get you to talk about it and take it lightly, he can persuade you, man. You know, and that's this thing. That's why he does these events and these psyops to get people talking about particular things. You know, so once he gets a conversation started, then he can start to persuade. He can start to work that magic, man, that left hand magic. Okay, it said it invites conversation. It subtly reframes, all right, the Most High's command as restrictive, as if the Most High was holding Eve back. Is not he pushing this technology as if, you know, human limitations created from the beginning, okay, are holding people back from transcending? Okay, is he not pushing? All right, the limitation that humans were made with is holding them back from transcending, and technology is going to break those chains. Okay, so this devil with this whole new world order, he's reframing it as if he's setting you free, okay, from the Most High. That's why even when you go here, okay, he pushes the Bible as restrictive. You know, that's why you tell a woman now about being in order on the man, and she just lose it. Like you're trying to put her back in a cage. You see, because she's been taught that that's restrictive. Being a mother, a wife, a nurturer, okay, aid in the man forward in the legacy. See, that's restrictive. You see, when she can go be a referee, okay, or you know, she could be on WWF, you know, WWE, whatever wrestling. You see, or whatever, man. All right. So this whole thing with the new world order, he's doing it with soft cell tactics, man. And this is exactly what the serpent did to Eve. Let's go here real quick. And we'll go back into it. Okay. That's one of his biggest things that he pushes. Okay, is that the Bible is restrictive, you know, and his way is liberal, progressive. Okay. This is Psalms 2 and 3. I started at 1. It says, why do the heathen, it said, why are the nations angry? Why do they waste their time with futile plans in this new world order? Okay. And you can't call it a conspiracy theory. No, this thing is rolling out. This is reality now. Okay, but their plans are futile. What these devils plan on trying to do, man, which is undermine the Most High with technology, man. That's futile, man. Okay, the kings of the earth prepare for battle. The rulers plot together against the Lord and against his anointed one. That this is the open rebellion. Okay, this is an open rebellion against the Most High, the prophecies of the Bible, the will of the Lord. Okay, this is open rebellion, man. You know, he wants to do away with the true Israelites. Okay, he wants to do away, all right, with Yahweh Shai. You see, he's preparing the actual fight. Yahweh Shai, you know, when he returns, that's why he's scrambling and throwing this up, man, because he wants to be at a certain point before Yahweh Shai returns. Which it don't matter what point he's at. All right, he's done. Okay, verse 3. Let us break their chains, they cry, and free ourselves from slavery to the Most High. Free ourselves from slavery to the Most High, man. You see, and that's part of the sale pitch of this soft sale tactic that he's pitching to the world. You know, that he's freeing you from the restrictive, okay, the restrictions of the scriptures. Okay, he's liberating you to freedom, to greatness. Okay, it said it subtly refrains the Most High command as restrictive. It encourages Eve to reconsider something already settled. Okay, because one thing, you know, that we should be learning in the truth, man, is that the Most High, all right, through the Elohim had to figure it out in the beginning. Everything that we've done and tried and experimented with was BS, man, was a downgrade. Okay, everything outside of operating in the righteousness of Yahweh by Shemal Shai is a downgrade. Okay, this thing was established: life, paradise, peace. Okay, wisdom. All these things were set up from the beginning. Okay, but we became curious as a people and experimented in other ways and this and that, and now we should see everything is full circle, and now we have tried everything as a people, and we should be able to look, us that's in the truth, man, we should be able to look at in Genesis and say the Most High had it figured out in the beginning. Through Yahweh Shai and Elohim, everything was figured out in the beginning. Everything else is a downgrade, man. Every other way is a downgrade, but Esau, he dressing it up as an upgrade. It says soft cell parallel. It said begin with a question that nudges the listener to rethink assumptions, misrepresentation, distortion of the command. The serpent exaggerates. You must not eat from any tree in the garden. Like damn, you can't eat from nothing else. Which was talking about partaking in other ways and philosophies amongst people outside the sons of God. All right, because Adam was the beginning of people, the Adamites, man. Okay, and Adam was given their way, their breath, all right, to govern, to rule. You see, to rule paradise, man. All right, and you had other people on the earth, so you had other ways. You had people that didn't have their breath, okay, their understanding. You see, and the serpent, he was known for what? Witchcraft and enchantment. So you best believe if he had, if he was persuading Eve, he had already persuaded, okay, other people outside the sons of God. Okay, but now he wanted to bring, their poison, okay, to their pure way. You see? So he's exaggerating like, damn, you can't do nothing but what you told to do. Basically, is what he's saying. You can't do nothing but what you told to do. Okay? And it was saying it in a way to like, damn, so Eve got to think like, damn. I never thought of it like that. So he's just breaking it down. Okay? Because a woman is easy to manipulate. All right? No matter how, intelligent the woman might think, man, she's easy to manipulate. Okay, all of them. It said this overstatement pressures Eve to clarify. In doing so, she slightly adds to the original command, nor shall you touch it, which may show confusion or emotional amplification. Okay, so now he's starting to, break her down. Okay, and that's why the devil, he operates in keeping people confused. Okay, when people are confused, they're more open to suggestion. Okay, so confusion is part of the soft cell tactic as well. It says soft cell parallel. It said present a distorted version to create friction or doubt, prompting the other party to engage or correct. It said direct contradiction framed as insight. It says you will not surely die. Now the serpent introduces a confident alternative narrative, appearing in form, even enlightened. Soft cell parallel offer inside knowledge that reframes risk as opportunity, man. And this devil, all right, is finna have the majority of the earth taking this risk. But he's gonna frame it as an opportunity. It's a privilege, it's an honor to be within this new world order. Okay, well, people don't understand. They're taking the risk, okay, of being in complete rebellion to Yahweh by Shemal Shai. Okay, it says, appear to desire an identity. You will be like the Most High, knowing good and evil. This is the emotional pivot. Appeal to aspiration, be like the Most High. So Eve already had desire within her. She already had this desire, okay, to rebel against Adam. She already had this desire to be something more. She wanted to be godlike. Okay, she wanted to operate outside her order. It was already in her. And the serpent had to see something, okay, between Adam and Eve. He had to see something that he could play on. All right. So he's playing on the desire that's in her, man. Okay. Just like now, if you worship the beast, that's something that's in you. If you admire, all right, the beast, okay. Well, this technology, this promise, okay, of transcending it, okay. Well, that's gonna play on the desire that's already in you. You see, it said this is the emotional pivot. Appeal to aspiration, be like the Most High. Appeal to autonomy, suggest without potential. Okay, suggest with it says suggest withheld potential. Okay, so Eve, in her mind, she was being held back. Now, able to frame it like she was being held back. She was being restricted, and that he was going to be the one to unlock her potential. He had a way to unlock her potential, man. And this is what he's going to sell to the world with this AI. Okay? Is if AI is going to unlock human potential, that the Most High was keeping from everyone. Okay? But he's going to unlock it and give it to you. Okay? It says soft cell parallel, said focus on personal benefits and empowerment rather than rule breaking. Okay, because no one is looking at this new world order as complete rebellion to the Most High. Okay, outside of the elect, no one is really focused that this man is in complete and open rebellion against the Most High with this technology, man. Okay, people only focus on the empowerment. Okay, like I said, people think this AI, it's an equalizer between them and the major corporations. Now they have the tools to compete with major corporations. Okay, so these people look at it as empowerment now. Okay, you used to have to pay all this money to shoot a music video, but now you got AI, man, and now it's affordable. Now every nigga with AI can have a prime time music video now. Okay, so people look at these things as empowerment. Okay, they can start business. AI can, while they're asleep, AI is trading stocks for them, doing this, and they can do. So they look at it as this empowerment, man. AI can make your scheduling. You see, AI can answer your phones and be your HR. Okay, whatever. So people look at these things as empowerment, man. It says yes. In communication term, it fits many characteristics of a soft cell: indirect, conversational, gradual escalation, desired focus rather than threat based. Okay, it is persuasive through subtle cognitive reframing. All right, not coercion. Okay, it says key patterns of deception. All right, biblically and psychologically, question authority, reframe boundaries as the deprivation, okay, of being deprived, minimize consequences, amplify benefits, appeal to pride or hidden desire, present rebellion as enlightenment. Present rebellion as enlightenment, man. And that sums up what this devil is doing, with this AI. He's presenting rebellion as enlightenment, man. Okay? So let's go here. Let's just sum it up with the words of Yahweh in the book of Luke. Okay, so you go to the book of Luke, chapter 9. So let's go here to the book of Luke 9. And Yep, this is Luke 9:24. It said, if you try to hang on to your life, you will lose it. Okay, and a lot of people they're going to want to hang on to their life, their current situation. All right, in this new world order, you see, they're going to lose it because guess what? You're going to be guilty of rebellion. You know, so a lot of our people are getting ready to merge with this technology. You know, as if they're saving their life, as if they're empowering their life. Okay, but not knowing that no, you're just agreeing to open rebellion against the Most High. So you're done. Okay, it said, but if you give up your life for my sake, you will save it, man. You know, and then we have the understanding to know, you know, that it will be better, you know, to lose everything temporarily and gain everything with Yahushua, even if it meant losing, you know, our life. Okay, we're still going to gain everything with Yahushua. That's the difference between the promises of the serpent and the promises of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. The Most High is not lying. Okay, Yahushua not lying. Esau is. Okay, and what we're coming into is a true empowerment, a true upgrade in righteousness, man. Okay, not falsehood, not deception. You see, so that's the point. You know, I just want to bring that out. You know, Lord will, you know, you brothers, all right, and you sisters was edified once again. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, and Kakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutations, and hopefully, shalom.